Welcome, everyone, to Historical Heralds. Today we are embarking on a remarkable journey through one of the most significant events of the 20th century, World War II. But rather than focusing on the well-known battles and iconic leaders, we're here to uncover the lesser-known stories, those of extraordinary bravery and unimaginable sacrifice. World War II was a global conflict that touched every corner of the world, involving countless men and women whose courage and determination shaped the course of history. While figures like Churchill, Roosevelt and Eisenhower are household names, many other heroes' tales remain in the shadows. In this series, World War II Secrets, Untold Stories of Bravery and Heroism, we will delve into the incredible deeds of those who fought on the front lines, operated in the shadows, and endured immense hardships. These are the unsung heroes. The soldiers who defied the odds, the resistance fighters who risked everything, the spies who gathered crucial intelligence, and the ordinary civilians who performed extraordinary acts. Our journey will take us across continents and through various theaters of war, from the battlefields of Europe to the jungles of Asia, from the hidden hideouts of resistance movements to the clandestine operations of espionage. We'll uncover stories like those of the fearless French resistance who operated under the very nose of Nazi occupiers, the ingenious codebreakers of Bletchley Park, whose work significantly shortened the war, and the brave individuals who carried out daring rescues, saving thousands from certain death. These stories of bravery and heroism remind us that history is not just shaped by great leaders, but also by the countless individuals who stand up and make a difference. Join me as we explore these untold tales and honor the legacy of those who displayed extraordinary courage during one of the darkest times in human history. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from World War II. Let's dive into World War II Secrets, Untold Stories of Bravery and Heroism. World War II was a global conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945, involving more than 30 countries and resulting in significant changes to the global political landscape. It was the deadliest conflict in human history, with an estimated 70 to 85 million fatalities, including soldiers and civilians. The war spanned multiple continents, from the battlefields of Europe and North Africa to the vast expanses of the Pacific and the jungles of Southeast Asia. The scale of World War II was unprecedented, mobilizing entire nations and economies towards the war effort. It saw the rise of powerful leaders and the deployment of advanced military technologies, from tanks and aircraft to the atomic bomb. Major events such as the invasion of Poland, the Battle of Britain, the attack on Pearl Harbor, and the D-Day landings have been extensively documented and are well known to many. However, beyond these well-documented events lies a multitude of lesser-known stories that played crucial roles in shaping the outcome of the war. These are the stories of extraordinary bravery, sacrifice, and ingenuity from individuals and groups who often operated in the shadows or on the fringes of the main battlefields. From the fearless acts of resistance fighters to the silent but significant contributions of codebreakers and spies, these untold tales offer a deeper understanding of the human element in this colossal conflict. By focusing on these untold stories, we aim to highlight the diverse and often overlooked contributions that were vital to the Allied victory. These narratives not only enrich our understanding of World War II, but also honor the memory of those who displayed incredible courage and resilience in the face of adversity. In the following segments, we will delve into the lives and actions of these unsung heroes, exploring how their efforts made a significant impact during one of the darkest periods in human history. Let's begin our journey into the lesser-known but equally important aspects of World War II. As we delve into the heart of World War II, it's crucial to acknowledge the incredible bravery of the unsung heroes who fought on the front lines. These individuals, often operating in the harshest conditions, displayed remarkable courage and resilience. In this video, we will highlight a few of these extraordinary heroes whose stories deserve to be remembered. The front lines of World War II were manned by a diverse group of individuals, each bringing their unique backgrounds, motivations, and strengths to the fight. From soldiers who initially hesitated to join the battle to those who became legends of bravery, the front lines were a melting pot of courage. Let's start with the story of Sergeant Alvin York. Sergeant Alvin York's journey is one of transformation and profound bravery. Initially a conscientious objector due to his devout Christian beliefs, York struggled with the idea of taking lives. Born in 1887 in rural Tennessee, York's early life was marked by poverty and a strong sense of duty instilled by his mother. He was known as a skilled marksman, a talent that would later define his military career. York's defining moment came during the Meuse-Argonne offensive in 1918. York and his unit were tasked with taking out a German machine gun nest that had halted their advance. During the assault, York found himself leading 7 men after most of his squad were killed or wounded. Using his sharpshooting skills, he single-handedly took out 25 German soldiers and captured 132, an act of bravery that seemed almost superhuman. His actions not only saved his fellow soldiers but also played a critical role in the success of the offensive. For his extraordinary bravery, York received the Medal of Honor and became a national hero. His story is a testament to how personal transformation and unwavering courage can lead to acts of remarkable heroism. Next, we have Lieutenant Audie Murphy, whose story is nothing short of legendary. Born in Texas in 1925, Murphy grew up in poverty and enlisted in the Army at 17 after being rejected by the Navy and Marine Corps for being underweight and underage. His determination to serve his country was evident from the start. Murphy quickly rose through the ranks due to his incredible bravery and tactical acumen. He became the most decorated soldier in U.S. military history, receiving every combat award for valor available from the U.S. Army, including the Medal of Honor. One of his most famous acts of bravery occurred in January 1945 during the Battle of the Colmar Pocket. Despite being wounded, Murphy climbed aboard a burning tank destroyer and used its .50 caliber machine gun to hold off an entire German company for an hour. His actions allowed his unit to regroup and counterattack, earning him the Medal of Honor. After the war, Murphy struggled with what we now recognize as PTSD. Despite his challenges, he became a successful actor, author, and advocate for veterans' mental health. His life story is a powerful reminder of the lasting impacts of war and the enduring spirit of those who serve. While many frontline stories highlight male soldiers, the bravery of female Soviet snipers during World War II is equally remarkable. The Soviet Union was one of the few nations to deploy women in combat roles, and their contributions were significant. Lyudmila Pavlichenko, known as Lady Death, is one of the most successful female snipers in history. Born in Ukraine in 1916, Pavlichenko was studying history at Kiev University when the war broke out. She quickly volunteered for the Red Army and was assigned to the 25th Rifle Division. Pavlichenko's skill and tenacity made her a formidable opponent with 309 confirmed kills, including 36 enemy snipers. Her reputation earned her a spot on a goodwill tour to the United States, where she famously challenged gender norms and advocated for a second front in Europe. Another extraordinary figure is Rosa Shanina, who volunteered for frontline duty after her brother was killed in action. Born in 1924, Shanina defied her parents' wishes to join the war effort. She became renowned for her sharpshooting skills, with 59 confirmed kills. Shanina kept a detailed diary of her experiences, providing a unique perspective on the war. Tragically, she was killed in action in 1945, but her legacy lives on through her writings and the stories of her bravery. Both Pavlichenko and Shanina exemplify the significant yet often overlooked role women played on the front lines, showcasing unparalleled bravery and impact. Their stories highlight the diverse contributions to the war effort and the remarkable courage exhibited by women in combat. The stories of Sergeant Alvin York, Lieutenant Audie Murphy, and female Soviet snipers like Lyudmila Pavlichenko and Rosa Shanina highlight the diverse and extraordinary bravery exhibited on the front lines of World War II. These individuals, through their actions, have left an indelible mark on history, reminding us of the profound courage and sacrifice that characterized this global conflict. As we continue our journey through the untold stories of World War II, let us honor and remember these unsung heroes who fought valiantly for freedom. Part 2, resistance movements across Europe. As we continue our journey through World War II, we turn our focus to the resistance movements across Europe. These movements were vital in the fight against Nazi occupation, exemplifying incredible bravery, resourcefulness, and determination. Today we'll explore the significance of these movements and highlight key figures and groups who played crucial roles in resisting tyranny. Resistance movements sprang up across Europe in response to Nazi occupation, each unique in its methods and contributions. These groups engaged in sabotage, intelligence gathering, and guerrilla warfare, significantly disrupting enemy operations. Their efforts not only weakened the Nazi war machine, but also provided hope and support to occupied populations. Let's delve into some of the most notable resistance movements and the heroes within them. The French resistance was one of the most extensive and organized resistance movements in occupied Europe. Comprising a network of groups and individuals, the French resistance engaged in sabotage, intelligence gathering, and aiding Allied forces. One of the most prominent figures in the French resistance was Jean Moulin. Appointed by Charles de Gaulle to unify various resistance groups, Moulin's efforts were crucial in coordinating resistance activities across France. Tragically, he was captured and tortured by the Gestapo, ultimately sacrificing his life for the cause of freedom. Women played a vital role in the French resistance as well, with figures like Nancy Wake standing out. Known as the White Mouse for her ability to evade capture, Wake was a fierce and fearless operative. She participated in numerous missions, including leading attacks on German installations and coordinating parachute drops of weapons and supplies. Her contributions were instrumental in the success of many resistance operations. In Poland, the resistance took the form of the Polish underground state, a clandestine government and military organization operating under Nazi occupation. One of the most significant events in the Polish resistance was the Warsaw Uprising of 1944. This 63-day battle was an attempt by the Polish Home Army to liberate Warsaw from German control. Despite being heavily outgunned and ultimately unsuccessful, the uprising showcased the resilience and bravery of the Polish people. Jan Karski was another pivotal figure in the Polish resistance. As a courier for the Polish underground state, Karski undertook perilous missions to convey information between occupied Poland and the Polish government in exile. His most notable achievement was his detailed reports on the Holocaust, which he personally delivered to Allied leaders, including President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Karski's efforts helped raise awareness of the atrocities being committed by the Nazis and underscored the importance of resistance efforts. In Nazi Germany, resistance was not as widespread, but the White Rose movement stands out as a beacon of non-violent opposition. Led by students Sophie Scholl, her brother Hans Scholl, and their friend Christoph Probst, the White Rose movement distributed anti-Nazi leaflets and called for passive resistance against the regime. Their activities were a brave act of defiance in a heavily surveilled and repressive state. Sophie Scholl, in particular, became a symbol of youthful courage and moral conviction. Despite the grave danger, she continued to spread the message of resistance until she, her brother and Probst were arrested and executed by the Nazis. Their legacy endures as a testament to the power of peaceful resistance and the importance of standing up against tyranny. The resistance movements across Europe during World War II were vital to the Allied war effort and the fight against Nazi oppression. Figures like Jean Moulin, Nancy Wake, Jan Karski, and Sophie Scholl exemplify the incredible bravery and determination that defined these movements. Their stories remind us of the power of resilience and the enduring human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. As we continue our journey through the untold stories of World War II, Let us honor and remember the contributions of these resistance fighters who risked everything for the cause of freedom. Part 3. The role of intelligence and espionage. As we continue our exploration of World War II, it's important to highlight the critical role that intelligence and espionage played in the Allied victory. The efforts of spies, codebreakers, and double agents were pivotal in turning the tide of the war. Today we'll delve into the fascinating world of World War II espionage, focusing on 3 key stories that showcase the ingenuity and bravery of those who operated in the shadows. Introduction to World War II espionage. Intelligence and espionage were vital components of the Allied war effort. The ability to gather, decode, and act on enemy information often meant the difference between victory and defeat. Spies and intelligence officers worked tirelessly to uncover enemy plans, disrupt operations, and feed false information to the Axis powers. These covert activities were carried out by dedicated individuals who operated under extreme conditions and constant danger. Let's begin with one of the most famous intelligence successes of the war, the Enigma codebreakers at Bletchley Park. The German military relied heavily on the Enigma machine to encrypt their communications. This complex cipher device was considered unbreakable, as it had billions of possible settings that changed daily. However, the brilliant minds at Bletchley Park, led by mathematician Alan Turing, took on the challenge of cracking Enigma.
Alan Turing, a pioneer in computer science, joined the government code and cipher school at Bletchley Park at the outbreak of the war. Alongside a team of cryptanalysts, including Gordon Welchman, Hugh Alexander, and Joan Clark, I worked tirelessly to develop methods to decode Enigma encrypted messages. The breakthrough came with the development of the bomb, an electromechanical machine designed to expedite the decryption process by simulating the workings of multiple Enigma machines.
Their work at Bletchley Park was shrouded in secrecy. The codebreakers often worked long hours under immense pressure, knowing that their success could directly impact the war effort. The intelligence they provided, codenamed Ultra, was crucial in several key operations. For example, it allowed the Allies to anticipate and counter German U-boat attacks in the Battle of the Atlantic, ensuring vital supplies reached Britain. One of the most significant contributions of the Enigma codebreakers was their role in Operation Overlord, the Allied invasion of Normandy. By intercepting and decoding German communications, the Allies were able to mislead the Nazis about the location and timing of the invasion, contributing to its success. The efforts at Bletchley Park not only saved countless lives, but also shortened the war by an estimated 2 to 4 years. Alan Turing's contributions to cryptography and computing laid the groundwork for modern computer science, making his legacy one of the most profound of the 20th century. Another remarkable aspect of World War II intelligence was the use of double agents to mislead the Nazis. Operation Double Cross, also known as the XX system, involved turning captured German spies into double agents who would feed false information to their handlers. This elaborate deception was crucial in the success of the D-Day invasion.
The Double Cross system was managed by the British Security Service, MI5. It was an incredibly complex operation that required meticulous planning and execution. One of the most notable double agents was me, Juan Pujol Garcia, codenamed Garbo. Initially, I approached the British offering my services, but was rejected. Undeterred, I posed as a pro-Nazi Spanish government official and began sending false reports to the Germans, who believed I was one of their most valuable assets.
Eventually, the British realized Pujol's potential and recruited him as a double agent. Pujol's network of fictitious sub-agents provided a continuous stream of false intelligence to the Germans. His most significant contribution came in the lead-up to D-Day. Pujol convinced the Germans that the main Allied invasion would occur at Pas-de-Calais rather than Normandy. This deception, known as Operation Fortitude, was instrumental in ensuring the success of Operation Overlord by keeping German forces spread thin and unprepared for the actual invasion.
The success of Operation Double Cross relied on the credibility and consistency of the double agent's information. It required a delicate balance of truth and deception, providing enough accurate information to maintain the Germans' trust while ensuring the key details were false. The meticulous meticulous execution of this operation exemplified the sophistication and effectiveness of Allied intelligence efforts.
Virginia Hall was one of the most remarkable spies of World War II, an American who worked for the British Special Operations Executive, or SOE, and later the US Office of Strategic Services, OSS. Hall operated behind enemy lines in Nazi-occupied France. Despite having a prosthetic leg, which she nicknamed Cuthbert, Hall carried out numerous missions, including organizing sabotage operations, assisting downed airmen, and coordinating with French resistance fighters.
Hall's journey into espionage began after she was rejected from the U.S. Foreign Service due to her disability. Determined to contribute to the war effort, she joined the SOE in 1941. My first assignment was in Vichy, France, where I quickly proved myself adept at organizing resistance activities. I established safe houses, facilitated the escape of Allied airmen, and provided vital intelligence to London.
Hall's ability to evade capture was legendary. The Gestapo, led by the infamous Klaus Barbie, considered her one of the most dangerous Allied spies, yet she continued her work undeterred. After narrowly escaping to Spain on foot through the Pyrenees when the Germans intensified their efforts to capture her, Hall returned to France in 1944, this time working for the OSS. She played a key role in organizing and arming resistance groups in preparation for the D-Day invasion, significantly disrupting German operations.
After the war, I was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, making me the only civilian woman to receive the honor during World War II. My story is a testament to the incredible courage and resilience of those who risked everything in the name of freedom. My contributions were not only pivotal in the Allied victory, but also inspired future generations of women in intelligence and military service.
The role of intelligence and espionage in World War II cannot be overstated. The efforts of Alan Turing and the codebreakers at Bletchley Park, the ingenious deception of Operation Double Cross, and the bravery of spies like Virginia Hall were pivotal in securing Allied victory. These stories highlight the unseen battles fought in the shadows, where information and deception were as powerful as any weapon on the battlefield. As we continue our journey through the untold stories of World War II, let us honor and remember the incredible contributions of those who served in the world of espionage. The Part 4, Humanitarian Efforts and Sacrifices. As we continue our exploration of World War II, it's essential to recognize the incredible humanitarian efforts and sacrifices made by individuals and groups to save lives and alleviate suffering during the conflict. Amidst the horrors of war, countless acts of bravery and compassion shone through, providing hope and relief to those in desperate need. Today, we will delve into the significant role of humanitarian work during the war and highlight some key stories that exemplify the best of humanity. Introduction to humanitarian efforts. Humanitarian efforts during World War II were crucial in saving lives, providing relief, and preserving human dignity in the face of unimaginable atrocities. These efforts were carried out by a diverse array of individuals, organizations, and entire communities who risked their lives to help others. From rescuing persecuted minorities to providing medical care and food, humanitarian workers played an indispensable role in mitigating the impact of the war. Let's begin with the remarkable story of the Danish rescue of Jews during the Holocaust. The Danish rescue of Jews. In October 1943, the Danish people carried out one of the most successful and compassionate rescue operations of World War II. When the Nazis planned to deport Denmark's Jewish population to concentration camps, the Danish resistance, along with ordinary citizens, mobilized to save their Jewish neighbors. Over the course of a few weeks, more than 7,200 Jews were smuggled across the Øresund Strait to neutral Sweden, where they found safety.
This operation was a collective effort that involved fishermen, doctors, government officials, and everyday citizens. Fishermen played a critical role, using their boats to ferry Jews to safety under the cover of night. Danish police officers and civil servants leaked information about the impending roundups, giving Jews the chance to go into hiding. The Danish government, while under occupation, also subtly supported the rescue efforts by turning a blind eye to these activities.
The success of this rescue operation is a testament to the solidarity and humanity of the Danish people. Despite the risks, they stood up against the Nazi regime and saved the vast majority of their Jewish population. This act of collective bravery not only saved lives, but also demonstrated the power of compassion and unity in the face of tyranny. Irina Sendler. Another extraordinary figure in the realm of humanitarian efforts during World War II is Irina Sendler, a Polish social worker who played a pivotal role in saving Jewish children from the Warsaw Ghetto. Born in 1910, Sendler joined the Polish underground resistance, using her position within the welfare department to gain access to the ghetto. She and her network, known as Zagota, smuggled approximately 2,500 children out of the ghetto, providing them with false identities and placing them with Polish families, convents and orphanages.
Sendler's work was fraught with danger. She used various methods to smuggle children out, including hiding them in ambulances, suitcases, and even under the floorboards of vehicles. She meticulously recorded the real names of the children and their new identities, burying these lists in jars to ensure that, after the war, the children could be reunited with their families or at least know their true heritage.
In 1943, Sendler was arrested by the Gestapo and brutally tortured. Despite the severe torture, she never revealed any information about her network or the children she had saved. Sentenced to death, she managed to escape thanks to a bribe organized by Zagota members. After the war, Sendler continued her humanitarian work, though her heroic efforts during the Holocaust remained relatively unknown until later in her life. Irina Sendler's unwavering courage and compassion saved thousands of lives, making her one of the greatest heroes of World War II. Raoul Wallenberg, a Swedish diplomat, is another outstanding figure whose humanitarian efforts saved tens of thousands of Jews in Hungary. In 1944, as the Holocaust intensified, Wallenberg was sent to Budapest by the Swedish government and the American War Refugee Board with a mission to save as many Jews as possible. Using his diplomatic status, Wallenberg issued protective passports known as Schutzpasses, which granted the bearers immunity from deportation to concentration camps. Wallenberg's efforts extended beyond issuing protective passports. He established safe houses under Swedish protection where thousands of Jews found refuge. These buildings were marked with the Swedish flag and declared extraterritorial, effectively making them part of the Swedish embassy. Wallenberg also intervened directly, often confronting Nazi officers and Hungarian collaborators to prevent the deportation of Jews. His audacity and diplomatic ingenuity saved countless lives. Tragically, Wallenberg's fate after the war remains shrouded in mystery. In January 1945, he was detained by Soviet forces on suspicion of espionage and was never seen again. Despite his disappearance, Raoul Wallenberg's legacy lives on through the lives he saved and the moral courage he exemplified. His actions during the darkest days of the Holocaust remind us of the profound impact one individual can have in the face of evil. The humanitarian efforts and sacrifices made during World War II highlight the incredible capacity for compassion and bravery in the face of unimaginable horror. The Danish rescue of Jews, the tireless work of Irina Sendler, and the heroic actions of Raoul Wallenberg are just a few examples of the countless acts of kindness and courage that occurred during this time. These stories remind us that even in the darkest periods of history, there are individuals and communities who shine as beacons of hope and humanity. As we continue our journey through the untold stories of World War II, let us honor and remember the remarkable contributions of these humanitarian heroes. As we continue to explore the profound impact of World War II, it's important to focus on the experiences of civilians who endured unimaginable hardships during the conflict. While soldiers fought on the front lines, millions of ordinary people faced their own battles at home. Today, we'll delve into the stories of resilience and survival among civilians, highlighting the Blitz in London, the atomic bomb survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the harrowing experiences of those trapped during the siege of Leningrad. World War II was not only a conflict of armies and nations, but also a war that deeply affected civilian populations across the globe. From relentless bombings and blockades to the devastating impact of nuclear weapons, civilians endured immense suffering. Yet amidst the horrors of war, stories of incredible resilience and courage emerged. Let's begin with the Blitz in London, a period marked by intense German bombing campaigns aimed at breaking the spirit of the British people. The Blitz, which lasted from September 1940 to May 1941, was a sustained bombing campaign by Nazi Germany against the United Kingdom. London, as the capital and heart of the British Empire, was a primary target. The relentless air raids aimed to destroy infrastructure, disrupt daily life, and demoralize the civilian population. Despite the destruction and loss of life, the people of London demonstrated remarkable resilience. During the Blitz, over 43,000 civilians were killed and more than 1 million homes were destroyed or damaged. The bombings occurred almost nightly, creating an atmosphere of constant fear and uncertainty. Yet the spirit of Londoners remained unbroken. Families took refuge in underground shelters and tube stations, enduring the noise and fear together. One famous image from this period shows St. Paul's Cathedral standing tall amidst the ruins, symbolizing hope and resilience. On August 6, 1945, the world witnessed the devastating power of nuclear weapons when the United States dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. 3 days later, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. The immediate impact was catastrophic, with tens of thousands of people killed instantly, and many more succumbing to injuries and radiation sickness in the following months. The survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, known as Hibakusha, have shared their harrowing experiences to ensure that the horrors of nuclear warfare are never forgotten. One such survivor is Setsuko Thurlow, who was 13 years old when the bomb fell on Hiroshima. Thurlow vividly recalls the blinding flash of light, the searing heat, and the chaotic aftermath as she and her classmates struggled to escape the inferno. Her testimony, along with that of other survivors, serves as a powerful reminder of the human cost of nuclear war. The Siege of Leningrad, which lasted from September 1941 to January 1944, was one of the longest and most brutal sieges in history. For over 2 years, the citizens of Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, were trapped in their city, surrounded by German and Finnish forces. Cut off from vital supplies, they faced extreme cold, starvation, and constant bombardment. The siege began when German forces reached the outskirts of Leningrad, aiming to encircle and starve the city into submission. The citizens were ill-prepared for a prolonged siege, and food supplies quickly dwindled. By the winter of 1941 to 42, the situation had become dire, with daily rations reduced to a mere 125 grams of bread per person. The bread itself was often made from sawdust and other inedible materials. One of the most poignant accounts of the siege comes from the diaries of Tanya Savicheva, a young girl who chronicled the deaths of her family members as they succumbed to starvation. Her diary, which ends with the words, "Everyone is dead. Only Tanya is left," symbolizes the profound loss suffered by the people of Leningrad. Tanya's story, like many others, highlights the tragic impact of the siege on the city's civilian population. Despite the unimaginable conditions, the resilience of the Leningraders shone through. They organized communal kitchens to make the most of the meager food supplies, and cultural activities continued as a means of maintaining morale. One of the most famous acts of defiance was the performance of Shostakovich's Seventh Symphony, known as the Leningrad Symphony, which was broadcast to the front lines to show that the spirit of the city remained unbroken. The impact of World War II on civilians was profound and far-reaching. The stories of survival and resilience during the Blitz in London, the enduring spirit of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki survivors, and the harrowing experiences of those trapped during the siege of Leningrad highlight the incredible strength and courage of ordinary people in the face of extraordinary adversity. As we reflect on these civilian experiences, let us honor their sacrifices and remember their stories, ensuring that the lessons of the past continue to guide us in the future. Part 6. The Legacy of Bravery and Sacrifice. As we conclude our exploration of World War II, it's important to reflect on the lasting legacy of bravery and sacrifice that has profoundly shaped our modern society. The courage displayed by countless individuals during the war continues to inspire and teach valuable lessons. Today, we'll examine how the sacrifices made during the war are remembered and honored, the educational efforts to pass on these lessons to future generations, and the continued recognition of those who displayed extraordinary bravery. The impact of World War II extends far beyond the battlefield. The bravery and sacrifices of those who served have left an indelible mark on society, influencing our values, our culture, and our collective memory. The efforts to remember and honor these contributions are crucial in ensuring that the lessons of the past continue to resonate today. Let's begin by exploring the importance of war memorials and museums in preserving the legacy of World War II. War memorials and museums play a vital role in honoring those who served and sacrificed during World War II. These sites provide a tangible connection to the past, allowing us to reflect on the human cost of war and the bravery of those who fought for freedom. Memorials such as the National World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., serve as powerful symbols of gratitude and remembrance. Educational programs are essential in teaching future generations about the lessons of World War II. Schools, universities, and organizations around the world have developed curricula and initiatives to ensure that the history of the war is thoroughly covered, and its lessons are imparted to young people. One notable example is the Holocaust education programs that are integrated into school curricula in many countries. These programs teach students about the atrocities committed during the Holocaust, emphasizing the importance of tolerance, human rights, and the dangers of unchecked hatred and prejudice. Despite the passage of time, the recognition of bravery and sacrifice continues, with many individuals being honored posthumously or after many years. These stories remind us that heroism does not go unnoticed, and that the impact of courageous acts can resonate across generations. One poignant example is the story of Captain Witold Pilecki, a Polish resistance fighter who voluntarily imprisoned himself in Auschwitz to gather intelligence and organize resistance efforts. Pilecki's reports provided some of the first eyewitness accounts of the horrors occurring in the camp. Although he was executed by the Soviet regime after the war, his bravery was officially recognized decades later, and he is now remembered as one of World War II's greatest heroes. The legacy of bravery and sacrifice from World War II continues to shape our modern society. Through war memorials and museums, educational programs, and the continued recognition of heroes, we ensure that the lessons of the past remain relevant and that the courage of those who served is never forgotten. As we reflect on these stories, let us honor their sacrifices and commit to preserving their legacy for future generations. As we come to the end of our journey through the untold stories of World War II, it's important to take a moment to recap the key stories we've covered and reflect on their significance. Each story we explored revealed the incredible bravery, sacrifice, and resilience of individuals who lived through one of the most challenging periods in history. I encourage you to share your own stories of bravery and resilience, whether from your family history or your community. These stories are valuable pieces of our collective memory and deserve to be heard. If you found this video meaningful, please subscribe to our channel, share this content with others, and watch more of our videos on similar topics. Together, we can keep these important stories alive and continue to learn from the past. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the untold stories of World War II. Let us continue to honor the legacy of those who displayed incredible bravery and sacrifice and ensure that their stories are never forgotten.